Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We got a pretty fun Wednesday night slate here, and this one we're taking a look at the Milwaukee Bucks headed to Cleveland, take on the CAVS. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com as well, some best bets and player props in there. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple other videos up for you today, including that player props video. Starting off the week super hot, 8-0. Going to give a gift card opportunity away in that one, so make sure you are liked and subscribed to be eligible to win that. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, Bucks lead off the slate here, -4 at Cleveland. That total is around 218. It hasn't budged much. We will come back to this game. Of course, we are looking at 9 other games here on a full Wednesday. Hornets -2 at Pacers. The Clippers, also on a back-to-back, are -1 at Orlando. Kings +9 at the Hawks after taking a 50-point loss in Boston last night. Knicks are +6 at the Heat. Raptors on a back-to-back are +4 at Chicago. The other game we break down, Denver -2 at Brooklyn, and that total is back up to 222. We love that under, certainly if it's going to stay that high. Memphis -4.5 at Spurs. The Suns are -2 at Jazz in a rematch of Monday's game there. And then the Mavericks, after getting crushed by the Warriors, we certainly predicted a win there, -4 at Portland to close out the slate. The Bucks here are on a big rest advantage, haven't played since Saturday, and the Cavs had a black and blue matchup with the Knicks. There aren't any two more physical teams right now in the NBA, and they had to go win that game without Jared Allen, their very crucial center, who's out with a non-COVID illness, leaving him questionable tonight. I think you should just bet this now and assume Allen's not going to be full strength, even if he does go out there. And if he happens to sit, then you got to be feeling very good about getting Bucks -4. Look, the Cavs are 2-6 without Jared Allen, and it's not just the defense that suffers. Their offense drops 6 points per game, 7 points per 100 possessions. So they're scoring just 102 without their big man there. Probably a lot of screen assists. We're not going to delve into that or try to denote any of what he does offensively to free them up, but obviously very key. They've been getting results, regardless of who's in the lineup. Very impressive season for the Cavs, which leaves them a half game behind the Bucks, actually, for 4th place in the East, tied in the loss column. And that's really the key to me, is that do you have Milwaukee's attention? I think they do. They've been watching this team excel. They're in their division. Milwaukee still owns that division, 7-2 straight up against the Central this year. And they had won 8 straight, of course, against the Cavs because they were awful prior to this year. Lost one of those wins this year and then lost the last meeting on December 18th with literally their entire rotation sitting due to COVID. When they have all big three, though, right? I mean, when they have Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they're 22-5 straight up. Without either of those guys below 500, 4-9 without Drew Holiday, who's going to be really key tonight guarding Darius Garland. The Cavs are really going to be in trouble if Garland can't get his. The rest advantage is huge here when you look at a Bucks team that is really building momentum as they come off the shortened off season for them. They've gone on win streaks of 8 and 6 already this season. And it's no coincidence that it's when they've got their guys healthy, when they have Drew and Chris and Giannis all together. And don't overlook the importance of getting like Dante DiVincenzo some extra rest. The only guy they're going to be missing tonight is Grayson Allen and Wes Matthews, but they got Pat Connaughton and DiVincenzo to just fill in those minutes. And if they're rested, that's going to be great for them. I like Giannis when we talk about the give a care factor. I certainly like Giannis to come out and put up his numbers and lead the way, especially if Jared Allen's out or inactive. So I think we're leading player props with Mr. Antetokounmpo at 27.5 points. Seems very low. He's only, since coming off the COVID list on Christmas, he's only gone below that total once. And you look at the games where they're high-profile matchups, even though they blew out the Warriors and the Nets, He got 30 plus in those games, 30 plus against Memphis too, which is the best paint defense out there. The Cavs are not the best paint defense if they don't have their center. Milwaukee, again, just, really ratcheting up the pace, second in pace over their last four, and the 1-3 straight going into this extra rest. So I think too much momentum for spunky young Cleveland to get this win at home.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Cleveland's necessarily going to be able to stop or impose their will with the big three to this point. And you're spot on with Giannis. I mean, looking at the games where he excels, and this is a huge lesson we learned in that Bucks Warriors matchup that you mentioned, where they blew him out, and he was the main reason they blew him out, right? I mean, I think he had like 32 points, rebounds, and assists combined in the first half of that game against the Dubs. So he's got 30 plus in 9 of his last 11 games, regardless of where he's playing or who he's playing against. So yeah, the man is on a tear. I do like the fact that Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday both score more on the road as well. I initially wanted to take the under. That's been the case in the last 5 against you in these matchups. It's 4 of the last 5 have gone under with 1 push in there. So they're not going over, but I think this one might be the opportunity for the Bucks to really sort of cement a quality win here, to your point, with all 3 players in the lineup that are crucial to them to that point, and not really having any holes outside of that. As long as they've got Bobby Portis as their 4th guy, first of all, they're in a good spot this year. But second of all, Dante and Pat Connaughton filling in the roles that would be needed. I think they'd rather have DiVincenzo than Wes Matthews at this point. Grayson Allen's probably 5th or 6th in terms of importance to this team, but they're still fine the way that they are. You could mention Brook Lopez too, but he's obviously not around at all. Regardless, I think the Giannis taking over thing, the fact that Drew and Chris both score 3 more points per game on the road. Chris Middleton is shooting 43% from 3 on the road this season, so you're just on a complete tear there. He's picked it up as well since he had a really horrible start, really, honestly, to the beginning of the season. So yeah, I think for this one, I would be aware of the over at this point. Sitting where is it at right now? I believe it's at about 216.5 or so. So it's not too high, too low. It's right around what you would consider. So rather than that, to your point, I think you just feel good about Milwaukee in this game when they are playing teams against 500 in their last 6 matchups. In that case, they've won 5 of those. So yeah, it's been one thing I want to mention too: road favorites. Somewhere that they've been really successful. So in those situations where they're on the road and they are favored, against this team, they come and they bring it, and they've won, a majority of those games as well, 10-6 against the spread as road favorites, and then 12-4 straight up. So I think I don't think it's going to be a blowout necessarily in terms of the Bucks going, into a 12, 13 point victory. I could see that before I would see the Cavs getting the blowout. But I'm not too scared of the 4 points, but still that we talked about this in the other video as well. If you like the money line there for the Bucks the way that we do, we also really, really like the under as it stands for that Nets game at about 221.5. That parlay right there feels pretty good at about plus 225 on your money on FanDuel, I believe. So there's a couple ways to play this, but either way, I think the Bucks to win and whichever angle you like within that is the play.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about being afraid of the under, it's because of the Bucks offense, I think 100%, right? So maybe we look at betting the Bucks team total then at 110.5 and take the over there. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they get over 120 and just totally make a statement in this game to say, this is still our division. No, you are not catching us for this 4th seed right now. You've had a nice little season, young guns, but we're the champs. I would consider that. You can bet alternate totals all the way up to plus 400 if you take them to get 120 at FanDuel. Maybe you could get a bit more conservative and go about 115 for plus 150. But I think, honestly, you talk about how good those second and third guys are on the road, and you look at how hot Giannis has been lately. Giannis actually sat on Saturday when they played that back-to-back. That's why that game went under. Otherwise, over in 3 of their last 4. And Giannis absolutely going off in all of those. Their pace against Memphis was just insane, 105. And if Cleveland is going to try to run up and down at all with this team, it's going to be a lot of points for the Bucks. I think on the road, I think you can capitalize on the recent trending unders. And I know that Allen has hurt their offense more, but I think in this particular matchup, it's really going to hurt their defense. If you're trying to protect the rim with just Evan Mobley, Giannis can bully that rookie, and I don't think they'll have many answers for him.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good call to your point that the team total there. I love what you're talking about there. And just considering that this spread is pretty low, you can get some pretty good juice as well on those player performance doubles we love to target. Giannis double in a win is plus 124. Wow. Feel really good about getting plus money for the man to get a double. I think you can book 10 boards for him for sure. There's a couple of good props out there as well. I mentioned Middleton's really hot shooting from three. If he hits 4 threes in a win, that's plus 430. So there's some pretty good stuff on FanDuel for those player performance doubles, as well as that Milwaukee team total that we're talking about. And you mentioned Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably going to lead off that player props video, where we will also have a gift card. Maybe we include Giannis in that one. We'll talk about it. But until we see y'all next, happy betting.